it's a question of perspective in terms of whether UAE or Jumbo-Visma can spin it to suit them, because both riders are still entirely possible within distance of winning this race. So who has the momentum? Who do you think is actually the rider in the team who's looking the best right now?
Well, if you look purely on time, you say Vingegaard, because he took another second, it's now 10. But if you work your way backwards, Pogacar made a mistake at the top of the climb, cost himself those seconds. And then further back again, the gap that he created between himself and Vingegaard with that big attack that Pogacar made was so impressive. You thought, oh, this could be the start of the race blowing apart. And then it just wasn't. He crept back towards the wheel, and then Pogacar sat up and said, OK, I'll do it another way. Then he messed it up after that. So I think the momentum is generally with Tadej Pogacar because that impressive attack. Then again, Vingegaard said, I did what I needed to do and I clawed my way back and I beat you in the sprint. So they can spin it.
Jonas is definitely a diesel climber. He likes a hard tempo from bottom to top all the way up. He's not he's like Bradley Wiggins was, just super hard all day long. Watch the numbers, watch the numbers. Tadej Pogacar isn't that. He's a big explosive rider, likes to go on the attack, really accelerate. And I think Vingegaard knows that today. And I think if you watch Tadej, the way that he went and then got brought back, that will have been demoralising for him. Doesn't matter what anyone says. Then after that, in a guaranteed sprint, really, that he should have won it, and he didn't, and he lost it. You could see straight over the top, he was angry, went straight past him. So for me, it's like Tadej now, and I said this to you earlier, my main worry is that this comes down to bonus seconds, and I don't want it to because of Tadej is so much quicker and more explosive than Jonas. We know that Jonas is going to have to go on the attack to try and distance Tadej now, and now Tadej knows that. He probably won't attack, so he'll be like, I'll just try and go for bonus seconds and do what I did yesterday.
Or maybe he will. He thinks I can create a gap like I did today. If he goes at the right time, he can maintain that through to the finish. And the good news is we've got another mountain stage tomorrow that finishes uphill.
It's just a tactical nightmare, like for both of them to know how each other's feeling, because they're inseparable at the minute.
Because Tadej Pogacar can get that gap. That's not the problem. It's holding the gap and extending it, because it only went out to 7 seconds today when it looked like he was going to pull the race apart at that stage.
I personally think he'll be happy with today. I know obviously he would have liked to have extended that gap, kept it over the top of the climb and down towards the finish. But the way Jumbo-Visma set it up today was to make it so hard that there was so much fatigue in the legs of Pogacar that when Vingegaard went on the final climb, he'd be able to create a big separation, like Col de Granon last year. As it turned out, Pogacar put his teammates on the run. Firstly, Micah, which really annoyed Wout van Aert. After that, we were thinking he doesn't look too good here. He had his glasses off, so he saw his eyes, and we were both looking at him thinking, especially when he got angry at dropping the bottle, he doesn't normally get angry about anything. He must be really suffering here. Next moment, he's talking to Adam Yates saying, can you go to the front, please, and make this a bit harder than it is at the moment, because I want to make it hard. I want to go on the attack. So even though he was caught towards the top, the fact that he wasn't dropped by Jonas Vingegaard today, I think he'll be very positive about that with what's to come over the next few days, because he knows that he is going to be able to take the bonus seconds. Was a big mistake, and I'm sure we'll go through it, but it was a big mistake how he rode it at the very top of the climb today for those bonus seconds.
Robbie, go ahead.
Yeah, nodded ahead by Tadej Pogacar. Adam Yates said, and nod, go.
And this is when we expected UAE to be able to do Jumbo-Visma to Jumbo-Visma, because it's not often that anyone can drop Sepp Kuss in a climb like that.
Yeah, well, they did exactly that, and they set up the attack by Tadej Pogacar, but as Adam said, they're just so evenly matched. It's just brilliant to watch. And although it was exciting to see a gap open up, and it could have all happened today, I didn't want there to be a big separation today, because every day that we get this is just extra bonus for us.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like this drama has been scripted for cycling fans. We don't get this level of perfection, do we? Because we're watching that final climb, and probably like everyone at home, we're desperate for the big move because we've all been building to it. And in the split second that it happens, you're thinking, oh no, please don't go too far, Tadej. And then he's being brought back, and Jonas is on the front. You're thinking, no, Jonas, stay with us, keep the race with us. But it was fascinating as well, I thought, watching when Jonas got in the front of that final climb. It was like a track sprint. He was spending more time looking behind him than he was in front.
Well, he had to. He was waiting for that move from Tadej to come. We knew it was going to come. Eventually it did, and Jonas reacted to it. And luckily for him, I think, that he got held up by those motorbikes. I think that really... Tadej sort of threw the toys out of the pram a little bit demotivated. But I was still so surprised he left it that late. Like, even if he was on the front, which he was like 80 metres to go, he left it to until he went for that sprint. And that
It was a real amateur mistake. Like, what Jonas was doing was what you should do. Like, keep looking around and make sure that you know that at the moment that Pogacar tries to go for the bonus seconds, makes his acceleration towards the line, that you know that he's done it and you can try to react. When Pogacar, after that, found himself on the front because they'd been blocked by the motorbikes, he barely looked around. It was just like, he was so confident he was going to get it no matter what happened. And so when Vingegaard went inside 100 metres to go to the top of the climb, Pogacar didn't know he was going until he was going past him, probably 3 kilometres per hour quicker, and he just didn't have enough road left to be able to re-accelerate and get enough speed to go back around him. And so, yeah, 3 seconds difference between the first and second across the line at the top of the climb there. And in the end, only 2 seconds difference in the bonus seconds at the finish line because they were going for second and third. So I think he will be angry about that and the way that he rode it.
Do you think, Robbie, Tadej Pogacar simply believed the Pogacar hype? He is the better sprinter. He's the one who soaks up the bonus seconds. He wasn't maybe expecting you and us to go on the attack, but surely you would.
Surely you would. I mean, he knows he is faster. Head-to-head sprint, he is faster. 99 times out of 100, probably 100 out of 100 if he's concentrated. But the one time that he's not, he just got jumped. Like Dan said, it was a real sort of junior or amateur mistake to make. And I still can't quite believe he made that mistake. It just
give him the benefit of the doubt. He must have so many things at that point running through his mind. One Pogacar attack normally is all that it takes to drop someone. So in his head, it's never really happened that he's attacked and been brought back, ever, like in that situation. So I think for him, being caught again, he must be like, this isn't good, right, back off, sprint. Go again, you get blocked by motorbikes, and he's like, oh, my God, this is going against me now. So everything running through his mind, I wonder how he's feeling. Yes, it was a mistake, but he must have been so stressed out at that point and doubting everything about that situation, rather thinking like, typical Tadej Pogacar, right, let's smash this.
I just hope someone can ask him in an interview so he can tell us what he was thinking at the time and what he thinks about his own performance in that bonus sprint.
Yeah, I think you've probably got a point there. There's so much about Tadej Pogacar's attacks that feel inevitable. And I guess for himself, if something doesn't go right with the water bottle to begin with, and then, it's frustration after frustration, that kind of thing can build. As we keep saying, these riders, despite their superhuman exploits, are indeed only human.